Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is FPL Meerkat and today we have the release of the 23-24 season. The game is literally just released today. I'm hopefully going to be getting this video out for you guys the next day. But yeah, let's get straight into making my very first initial draft. So yeah, the game is literally just launched. Here is the layout for everything here. It looks really nice. I've literally just auto-picked a team just to get everything set up. And I've sort of got an idea of what my team's going to look like, but I'm sort of going to be making it on the wing here as well. So where else to start off but with the goalkeeper. So actually, I'm going to start off with the bench because what I like to do in FPL is I like to have the bench basically as cheap as possible when it comes to the start of the season, and then try and make the starting 11 as good as possible, and then potentially use some money to spend on maybe one of the bench players because those bench players are rarely going to ever come off. I'm going to be picking mostly players who are pretty nailed to play. So yeah, that's the idea here. So we're going to start off by going for goalkeepers, and we're going to go 4 million goalkeepers, and see if there are any starters here. Areola, that's quite a good one from West Ham. I don't know if he's a starter, but he's certainly competing for that starting spot with Fabianski. I'm not too sure about many of the other names nearer down the list. Peacock Farrell I do remember, but I believe that he's not Burnley's starting goalkeeper there. We're going to stick with Areola for now, just as the initial draft. We're also going to go for 2 4 million defenders, starting 4 million defenders. So let's have a look here. I believe there is Bayer, this guy from Bournemouth, from Burnley, I believe, is a starting defender for them. And is there anyone else here? Fernandez? I guess that's not that's not Bruno Fernandes. Suddenly saw that. Bell, I've heard, is a starting defender as well, but he also is away for the first game of the season, so he won't be playing. Baldock, I'm fairly sure Baldock is a starting defender for Sheffield United. That's a really good pickup. He plays wing back for them as well. I believe he was really good in the 2021 season when Sheffield were in the Premier League. He had a really good season. He was obviously outshone by Lundstram the initial season, but he was pretty good. And I believe he was 4.5. So that's surprising that he's 4 million. There must be someone else who I'm forgetting that maybe starts over him. I'm not too sure about that, but I think he starts. So we're also going to go for a 4.5 million forward here. I'm going to go for a 3-5-2 formation. I think the midfielders are just really good. There's really good value in the midfield this season, as I've seen when the price reveals. Balogun is a 4.5 million. That's interesting if he gets a move away from Arsenal, or if Jesus becomes injured and he becomes first choice for a time being. That's a really interesting one. McAtee, I believe, gets some good minutes for Luton. I could be wrong there. Obviously, it's Morris and Adebayo, I believe, are the 2 starting strikers, but he could potentially get some minutes. And we've got 1 Sheffield and 1 Burnley. So let's go for John McAtee at Luton Town. Right, getting into the actual team now. You know, the actual reason why you've gone on this video. We are going to go for Ramsdale, I believe, in goalkeeper. I do want one of the Arsenal defenders, and I do believe, just looking at the Arsenal defence here, they're a little bit pricier as well. They're at the 5 million mark, the same as Ramsdale, so I would like to go for Ramsdale for those nice opening fixtures there for Arsenal. I think an Arsenal triple up will be very, very popular, given that they don't play a tough game, quote unquote, until Man United at home. And they've got 4 home fixtures in the first 6. So yeah, I think a triple up on Arsenal is definitely going to be viable. Next defender, going to go to Liverpool. We're obviously going to get in Trent. Being a Liverpool fan myself, I've got to have some kind of Liverpool representation here. And yeah, Trent has been playing absolutely amazingly recently. Obviously had a really, really good campaign in the end to the campaign last year was actually his one of his lowest scoring in the past 5 years, but he really started to rack up those points playing in that inverted fullback role, playing almost as a midfielder, was getting a lot of points at the end of the season, and he's got an 8 million price tag this season, but I think he's more than worth it, honestly, for what he can produce. Moving on to the next defender, I want a Man United defender in there, and it's probably going to be Luke Shaw. Dallo at 5 million, certainly interesting. The problem is with Wan-Bissaka there, there's definitely some competition for that spot. They both offer different things as well, whereas Shaw pretty much is just the better fullback against Malacia, so I think Shaw will be getting those minutes. Martinez and Varane there at 5 million if you want someone nailed on. But yeah, Luke Shaw for those nice set of opening fixtures for Man United, especially defensively. Arsenal and Brighton probably a bit tough. Maybe Spurs away as well. But yeah, Wolves home, Nottingham Forest home, Burnley away. Some really good fixtures there for sure. Get the pun. And I want a Brighton defender as well. And of course, it's going to be a Estupiñán, who was especially good at the end of the season. Last season. Luton at home, those first 3 fixtures are really good for Brighton. A lot of good attacking threat there from Estupiñán. I'm just going to check as well, because I didn't check Trent's fixtures for Liverpool. Are a little tougher. Chelsea as the first game, maybe not the easiest. Bournemouth at home, a good fixture though. Newcastle a tough one. Aston Villa could be a tough one, but yeah, I definitely see a lot of points potential there for Alexander-Arnold. And yeah, Estupiñán, a really, really fine option there. Also, I might as well knock this out of the way, because obviously he's going to be in the team. Erling Haaland, who I didn't start off with last season. I did go for Kane initially. I will say that Haaland isn't nailed on in my team, purely because looking at how he played during last season, he really did start to tail off near the end of the season. I think it was something like the last 5 or 6 games he failed to score in. I know those were tougher games, like the Champions League final, the semi-finals against the both legs against Real Madrid. But yeah, they were. His output was especially low near the end of the season, but of course he still absolutely smashed it for the rest of it. So I think it's a bit unsafe to go without Haaland to start off with, but I'm a little more reluctant on him this time. I may not captain him in game week 1. I'm not too sure. I think that Burnley away game might be a bit tougher than people think, and I think there's probably some better captaincy options, which I'll get onto. And in terms of the second striker, I'm not going to be having Salah in the team initially in this draft, purely because I just think there's so many better, cheaper options in him. I think 12.5 is a little bit high for Salah as well. I think if he was 12 million, I might consider. And he could definitely still make his way into my team. I mean, look at the consistency in his scores. The guy's absolutely incredible. But yeah, it would have to probably be at the sacrifice of Haaland or someone else really good in the midfield. So for the time being, I'm not going to have Salah. So instead, I'm going to have his teammate Gakpo as the striker. I do think that the starting front three for Liverpool will be Trent will be Diaz, Gakpo and Salah. I think Gakpo will get the majority of minutes. I think Núñez was definitely more of a bench player come the end of the season, but again, there could be mass rotation between those 5, and he's probably the one player I've got in the team who is going to be a bit more rotation heavy. I think everyone else I've got is pretty much nailed, especially those ones that I've got initially. So then the entire midfield 5, I'm just going to go into the midfielders here and try and remember who I wanted. So Saka, I think, is definitely in. I think he's been really underpriced. 8.5 million. Yeah, he should not be 8.5 million. He should be 9.5 minimum, I believe. On penalties, that Arsenal attack looks incredibly good. I genuinely could see him in pretty much everyone's team, to be honest. Yeah, that is an absolute steal for 8.5 million. And yeah, those upcoming fixtures, I think he's definitely going to be in the team. Had a really good campaign. And joining him as well, I'm going to have Martinelli at 8 million is pretty good, but I'm going to have Ødegaard, who did actually outscore Saka incredibly, despite how good everyone thought Saka was, with an incredibly good 212 points there. I think Ødegaard will continue to get in those points. I just think the way that Arsenal play suits him, those late runs into the box. He didn't really have a massive expected goals. He had, yeah, 9.75 expected goals there and scored 15 of them. So, yeah, he was very, very clinical. But, yeah, I think he's just way too good to pass up. So, yeah, in he goes to the team. Next is going to be Bruno Fernandes. Again, another player I think has been really underpriced. On penalties, again, this will probably be a good pickup if Man United sign a striker. If they don't sign a striker, I think Rashford's probably a better pick than Fernandes, as he'll be playing up top. But yeah, if Fernandes is feeding balls into the main striker, if he keeps penalties as well, I think he's a great pickup for 8.5 million. And yeah, I think Man United have some good opening fixtures. I'm really targeting the fixtures here. And now the last two midfielders. I've got to have a Brighton one in there, and I think I'm going to go for Matoma. I did see that March, Matoma, and Gross are all priced at the same amount. But yeah, Matoma, definitely my boy to pick. Had him for a lot of last season. Did really, really well for me. I really like him as a player. Not massive total points, but of course he only really played half of the season. He wasn't really involved in the first half of the season. But I definitely think he'll nail down that left wing spot and play a lot more often. And yeah, those opening free fixtures are excellent for Brighton. So in he goes to the team. And the last one, we've got 6.5 million on a midfielder here. I could go for Mbeumo. He's a really good shout. I think, obviously, with Brentford, Tony being absent, Mbeumo will play a lot more advanced. He'll have penalties. He'll get a lot more chances, I believe, in that Brentford team. And some really, really good opening fixtures for Brentford. Definitely one to consider. But for the time being, I'm going to go for a bit of a differential, I imagine, and go for Eze. I think he's just going to have a really phenomenal season. I really like that opening fixture against Sheffield United. Yes, they're a bit tougher further down the line, but yeah, I can see Eze just really hit the ground running. And I would like to have someone who's a little bit different in the team. I guess Gakpo probably provides that as well. But yeah, Eze, I think would be is going to be a great option. So yeah, there we go. Confirm the transfers. Obviously, the armband going to go on Haaland. And going to put the vice on Saka there as well. Again, feels very weird having a team without Salah in it. That could very, very much change come the beginning of the season. But yeah, that's definitely going to be one to consider. And yeah, I think that wraps up my initial team selection. Thank you guys for watching. It's great to be back for the new FPL season. Let me know who you guys are thinking of in your initial drafts. The game's literally just launched. It's still a month away until kickoff, so of course this could look very, very different given injuries, given preseason form. There might be some absolute gems to pick up. But yeah, I think I'm pretty set on the one premium draft just with how strong this team looks with just the one premium in the team, that being Haaland. But yeah, I could go for the likes of a Kane or a Salah, who are definitely absent here, and then lower someone else down in the team. Really going to be really interesting picking that one. But yeah, liking how this team looks. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little rough initial video. I'll see you in the next FPL video.